Team Affinity 4 Preview Part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and in this video we're going to go over more of the Team Affinity Season 4s that have been revealed, and I'm going to kind of give my opinion about them. Obviously, they're coming out tomorrow, as well as on the channel. For any of you guys, I know you're looking for that conquest for the 6th inning, and it's going to come out. I promise. Last night with the servers being messed up, I could not finish completing it. I'm going to complete it tonight. It will be out before 3 p.m. when all this stuff drops tomorrow. I guess it's dropping after the stream, so it might drop a little bit after 3 p.m. Either way, it will be out probably around lunchtime. 1 o'clock's when I'll set it to be scheduled to come out, but I'm working through that right now. But I wanted to talk more about this Team Affinity Season 4 a little bit tonight, as well as I will give a showdown tutorial on top of how to get these tomorrow, do an overview of them, and then I'll start working through the true reviews of each of the cards tomorrow as well. They won't all be out tomorrow, but I'll work on the videos. I'll probably edit them over the weekend and release them when they get edited. I appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving me lately. I know I've been very erratic with content. I'm going to try to be more consistent now. Figured out a schedule for everything that's going on with my I guess he's like 7 months old now, as well as the card breaking business, the sports card business. If anybody does collect baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards, please leave a message or send me an email or whatever else, and I'll get you linked up with my Facebook page, Charm City Breaks. That way we can get you some good pricing on sports cards, or you can get in my breaks, whichever one you want to do. But with that all said and out of the way, let's get into it. All right, guys, so last time we didn't have Wade Boggs introduced, and now he is the Boston Red Sox 1986 Silver Slugger, 99 overall. He's probably going to have around 120 to 125 contact. Righty and lefty. He's going to have a very good swing. He's going to play a very good third base, but he's not going to have a lot of pop. He'll probably have somewhere in the mid-80s for pop. I think some of their attributes are out already. I've not seen any of them. I'm just making assumptions. You guys will know from talking that my assumptions are pretty good when it comes to how these cards will look. Obviously do a lot of card reviews. I know what cards are good, what swings are good. I know a lot of you guys listen to me for that type of stuff. So the Wade Boggs, I think he's going to be a good third baseman. I think there's going to be better guys out there. Moving on to Frank the Tank Thomas, one of my favorite players all time. This is his 1994 MVP season, 99 overall. He's not going to be a good fielder, but he is 6'5", like 250. So he clogs up a lot of space on first base. He's going to have 125 contact against lefty, 125 power against lefty. He'll probably have somewhere in the 120s or 125s power against righties as well. This year he was on an absolute tear when he won the MVP in 1994. I do think his contact against righties will be about 110, maybe a little bit higher. He'll probably be a lot of guys' first basemen. I know I'm going to run a platoon of him and Big Poppy David Ortiz from Boston, probably as my 2 first basemen, depending who you have. Moving on, we didn't have Bob Feller last time either. We only had 10 guys introduced when I did the video on Tuesday. So looking at Bob Feller, 18 strikeout game. He's going to throw mad heat. He's going to have outlier 1. Going to be a little bit inaccurate, but he's going to be a fastball slider pitcher. He's going to have a changeup that does have a good changeup speed. I think he can be very lethal. His card last year when he was, the 7th inning boss or whatever, was absolutely nasty last year at 99 overall. So he will be a good card that you'll see in a lot of rotations as Bob Feller. I can promise you that. We did Newhouser, Biggio, Saberhagen, and Edmonds in the last video, so go check that out. That'll be tagged in the upper right corner for you guys. Let's move on to Walter Johnson. What does he have? 110 career shutouts. Is that what that was showing all-time record? 99 overall. Another guy that's going to be very similar to Bob Feller. He's going to have one of these goofy, wind-ups all over the place, arms flailing all over. But he is going to throw very hard. I don't know what the rest of his pitch repertoire is going to be. He might be a guy that throws 102, as he threw absolute gas in his era. Obviously, he wasn't throwing 102 in his era, but he did throw absolute gas, so you'll probably have outlier 1 on him as well. Another guy that could be in your rotation, honestly, I'd probably take Feller over him, and I'd probably take Maddox over him as well. But I do think he's going to be a good option as a pitcher. I think he's going to be a guy you're not going to see that often, and because of that, he might be very dangerous because you just don't see him enough. Jason Giambi, the 2000 MVP for the Oakland Athletics. This is when Giambi first started juicing it up, and he just blew up in size. Obviously playing with Canseco, McGuire, or around that era, right, in Oakland. He had access to steroids. He's going to mash righties. He's going to be a great platoon guy at first base. Against lefties, he's never been a great hitter against lefties, but I think he'll have very good pop still. For David Price here, we have the Tampa Bay Rays starting pitcher. I'm not impressive. I mean, I think he's going to be a lot like Blake Snell was last year whenever he had his, Team Affinity 1 last year. I think he's going to be very similar to that Blake Snell. He's going to have a hard fastball, good slider, good curveball. I don't think he's going to be a must-have in your rotation. I think there's way better options of pitchers that you can get out of these Team Affinity 4s. I don't think that David Price is the answer to that. To be honest, I think he's probably one of the weakest picks you can have. Now, obviously went over Pudge, went over Olerud, on to Luis Gonzalez. He had 50 home runs this season in 2001. He was on an absolute tear. I don't believe he won the MVP because there was this man named Barry Bonds. And Barry Bonds, I think this wasn't the year he hit the 73 home runs, but Barry Bonds was absolutely the best player in baseball. I believe he won the MVP in 2001. Let's actually check that real quick. I was going to say, let's see. He, in 2001, he finished actually third in MVP race with 57 home runs. And like I said, Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa. This was actually the year Barry Bonds hit 73. So there's no way he's going to win MVP, but look at this. 57 home runs, 142 RBIs. He had a 325 batting average with 429 on-base percentage, 688 slugging with an OPS of 1.117. Those are some redonkulous numbers. I mean, but you're not competing with Barry Bonds. He was on-base percentage 515. He had an 863 slugging with a 1.379 OPS, 73 home runs. But Barry Bonds was unreal as a hitter. Unfortunately, we'll never get him in the video game. But Luis Gonzalez is going to be a very good card. He finished third in MVP race, and he might be the best card outfield-wise that you'll get out of all these options, to be honest. He's going to be nasty. I think he's going to have a pretty good swing. Definitely a guy, if you make an Arizona Diamondbacks theme team, that should 100% be on it. Moving on to the Atlanta Braves, we get the 99 overall Signature Series Eddie Matthews. Personally, I like Eddie Matthews' swing. I know if you watch anybody else on YouTube, you might watch Kevin OMG, and he is going to love Eddie Matthews. He's one of the big fans of Eddie Matthews. I think you'll see him in a lot of lineups because he does have a lot of fans. I think he's well over 100,000 subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. Go check out his content, actually. Not trying to dick ride or anything. I just think he's one of the funnier content creators. But he loves Eddie Matthews. It's definitely going to be in his lineup at third base. I do think Eddie Matthews could be a good player, but I think there's just better options at third base in the game. I think Chipper Jones is still the de facto best third baseman. But I think Eddie Matthews could be maybe top 5. We'll see what his numbers actually look like because I don't think they make them as good as he can play in the game. I think he's a guy that plays above his attributes. We already had Greg Maddux, talked about him, how he's a good control pitcher. Looking at Barry Larkins here, 30-30 club. To me, it doesn't matter what Barry Larkins does. He has a terrible swing, in my opinion. He never hits righties very well. So he's just a guy that's never useful to me. I don't like his swing. I don't think he ever has good attributes. We can just nick-say him as he's going to be useless at shortstop. Vinny Castilla, he was kind of like the third wheel of Helton and Larry Walker. 1998 Silver Slugger, third baseman. Once again, I think there's so many other better options at third base. I think that Eddie Matthews is going to be a better option at third base. I even think that probably Wade Boggs will be a better option at third base than he is. Overall, Castilla, for somebody that is a Rockies fan, he is one of those guys that's like a fan favorite. I just don't think he'll be that good of a card. Looking at Duke Snyder here, we've already talked about him. Gary Sheffield last year was the National League collection reward, and he was pretty nasty. I'm not going to lie. I love Gary Sheffield's swing. He has that little twitch in it, and he just whacks it. I personally like Gary Sheffield. He'll probably be a guy that will get some love in my lineup. I collect him in real life when it comes to baseball cards because that autograph right there, absolutely sexy, if I have to be honest. Just look at that right there, just perfect, and it's always like perfectly flat. Him and Adrian Beltre have such beautiful signatures. Pudge doesn't have a bad one either. Those are one of my top 3 signatures, actually, because they're just so flat and even, and I just love them. Paul Molitor, we went over them already. I do think this Gary Sheffield's going to be a monster, though. I don't think he's going to replace Roberto Clemente in right field for me because I'm a Pirates fan, but hey, good guy to have. Molitor, we went over. Tom Seaver, 19 strikeout game. This card's going to be filthy. He's going to have ridiculous hits per 9, ridiculous K per 9. He's always super hard to hit. He's in that same thing with Bob Gibson. I think that this is going to be a tremendous card. I think he's going to be a must-have in your rotation. We'll see what the attributes play out as, but I can definitely see him being a must-have. Jimmy Rollins, fan favorite in MLB The Show. I think if he came out a little bit earlier, it'd be more people shortstops. I think you're just really getting another version of Wander Franco with a different swing. Now, Rollins' swing is probably better than Franco's swing, but I really think that if you already have Wander Franco and you already have the Prestige 5, there's no point on getting the Jimmy Rollins unless you're a Philadelphia Phillies fan. I do think, though, that he will have a very good swing. He's always a good switch hitter. I'm going to assume that he's going to be somewhere in the mid-80s for power and probably like 110-ish contact on each side. I believe this was the year he got to 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Whatever year that was where he like 20 of everything. I believe that's what this year was in 2007 when we won the MVP. Moving on to Honus Wagner. Obviously, this is the best T206 card you could have in the world. It was the card that sold for the most money when it came to baseball cards at one point in time. He was obviously the big collection reward, which is Mookie Betts this year, as well as Mike Trout the year before. I do think that the Honus Wagner is a very good card. He's typically a shortstop, but he can play all over. I love his swing. He has very good power against righties and lefties. I'm a Pirates fan, so I'm a little bit biased. I'll probably have him at shortstop, to be honest, and move Wander Franco out. But I do think this Honus Wagner will be usable, but he's only a righty. He's not a switch hitter. We've already talked about Bob Gibson, and that is the review for the second part of the Team Affinity 4s. When they all come out tomorrow, I'll give you guys a nice overview of the Team Affinity 4s, talk about kind of how to get them, and then we'll start to go over each card individually, give them Chewy rating based on their actual attributes that come out. On top of, we'll talk about whatever showdowns, conquests, all that stuff to unlock them. I'm sure there will be collections you can do or whatever else. Also, look out for the 6th inning conquest. Will be out tomorrow around noon, 1, somewhere in between maybe. And look out for that showdown that will come out this weekend, probably Saturday for the 6th inning. I will also do an overview of how to get Robbie Ray for free Player of the Month. I was going to do the Player of the Month yesterday, popped that video out, but the server was all messed up, so I just ended up going to bed. You guys, as always, I appreciate all the support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with any of your friends that play MLB The Show 21. You guys have a great day and be safe.